Welcome, everybody. It's your girl Delores, just the pink girl in her pink world, here on YouTube with my good brother J News. J News, you got something to tell the good people?
What's going on, folks? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for all y'all out there streaming with us live. Back here at it again, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Hit the Ropes podcast. Me and the lovely Dolores, reviewing and going through the week in professional wrestling. That was. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as usual. And we've got plenty of information and tidbits to go through for today. Your mute, Dolores.
Me and this mute button gonna fight each other, and I found a shortcut and didn't even use it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the review. And we're gonna start off with WWE, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna start off with Raw. Monday Night Raw was 16:59 on the 10th on Netflix. Jay Uso defeated Grayson Waller. Tornado Tag Team match. We had the New Day of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods defeat the LWO of Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. We had the WWE Women's Intercontinental Title #1 contendership match where Raquel Rodriguez defeated Bayley. And in a steel cage match, Seth freaking Rollins defeated CM Punk by a little help for somebody who don't like him in that man Roman Reigns. J News, did you see any of this and what did you think?
Well, um, to answer your first question, I saw bits and pieces of Raw. I am for those who aren't aware, I will make you aware now. I am not an avid Netflix user, so I never necessarily carry on to go watch it. Um, so there's that part of it. So I always have to remind myself to go on to Netflix to watch this. Secondarily, um, I was glad to see the good brother Jay Uso get a win with all this beating up that's been happening of him lately. Walter always getting the upper hand and choking him out and everything else in between. It was good for him to get a win against someone, be it Grayson Waller in this case, even though he was still choked out after the fact. Um, the sentiment across the internet right now, um, I don't have. I'm kind of indifferent towards it. That being the New Day and where their storyline has not gone, seems to be the consensus right now across the internet with the fans that people are just disinterested in what's going on with the New Day after their turn on Big E. It doesn't seem like the company has capitalized on it at all whatsoever. So there's that. I think this is really more of a from the outside looking in, from a macro perspective. I feel like this whole New Day heel turn thing is more of a slow burn type deal. Like it's just going to take more time than people uh, think. Um, Folks are always looking for that immediate gratification towards storylines and things of that nature. I feel like the fan base just has to sit with the fact that they're going to be heels, and then for us to just watch them evolve as heels and see how dastardly they get, and that takes time to do. And it hasn't really been that long as of yet. So give it time, let it cook, as the kids say, and we'll see where it goes. But for right now, for the immediate moment, I do agree with a large portion of the fan base that it seems like the storyline's kind of stale. So depending as to whatever they want to do with the New Day going forward as heels, they have to rev it up a notch. Is something that I would want to say in that particular perspective.
Yeah, they're on Dominic Mysterio level where we're just booing them, but we really don't have any interest in them.
Mm.
Like it's just they're there. You know you're supposed to hate them because they don't like Biggie. And it's like, who what are we doing? They're not like winning every match. And so it would be great if they were like on a winning streak and then we somehow get them to face a team that maybe Big E was managing or something. We're not getting any of that. We're just getting plain on them coming out getting booed, them barely being able to talk, and then sometimes they oppose people for what reason other than they're mad at Rey Mysterio because he didn't let them in the locker room, and and people consider him a locker room leader. And I don't understand why Dragon Lee had to get involved in this when the whole locker room didn't want them in the locker room in the first place. So why ain't nobody else stepping up to fight the New Day?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's linear in that sense because Rey Mysterio is a part of the LWO, and so is Dragon Lee. So just keep it simple in that particular sense, from a storyline perspective. But like I said, and like you said, Dolores, like the it just doesn't seem like the storyline is going anywhere or has gone anywhere as of yet. But we shall see what the WWE wants to do with Kofi and Woods going into the future. Like I said, maybe turning it up a notch from a heel perspective might work, just because at this point it seems that it's laying a little bit flat. The women's intercontinental title number one contendership match with Raquel and Bailey. Raquel did not beat Bailey cleanly, obviously. So there's that. Um, and it seems like the WWE is having a concerted effort over the last couple of weeks of highlighting the other ladies in the roster who aren't uh, remnants of the past generation of women's wrestlers. So that's a good a good sign there. Not saying that they've got to put women like Bailey and Bianca out to pasture. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that you brought up these newer girls onto the main roster. You got to do something with them, So I can appreciate Raquel in singles work here, getting a number one contender shot. Hopefully, we get to see a match with her and the Bird Lady, and hopefully it's an interesting and good match to watch. As for the steel cage match that everybody uh, on the internet was talking about, I took a look at it specifically just to understand as to what the conversation was about, and I have to put I'm making a concerted effort now to put everything into context for what it is. This was a cage match on Raw, and it was the main event between CM Punk in 2025 and Seth Rollins in 2025. It was good for what it was. That's it. It wasn't the best cage match in the world. There wasn't this overly dramatic amount of selling. The one clip that was selling in the sense of like real pain and anguish that I'm used to in in cage matches and things of that nature. Cage matches for me specifically because I am older, right? A lot of cage matches that I've watched over the years have always drawn color, and with the WWE, color meaning people bleed. And at the end of the day, when you have a cage match without blood, cage matches are supposed to be blood feuds. When you have one without blood, it just doesn't do much for you. There's no sense in the cage being there, because it doesn't feel like a real blood feud or a real fight in that sense. Good spots here and there. People, I think folks went over the top with the superplex spot that I believe it was Seth gave to CM Punk, where CM Punk's legs were on the top of the cage, but Seth Rollins was just on the top.
Yeah, what happened was CM Punk was in a
Yeah,
seated position. Seth came up to
yeah,
get him, and he did the
superplex.
superplex there. But Punk essentially had to get his neck and shoulders square
Yeah.
onto Seth and kind of just throw his legs and push off to do the
He didn't throw his legs and
superplex.
push off. His legs was dangling off the top of the cage. So he was much safer than people thought that spot was. And that spot, yet again, to be technical about it, and it's not shitting on both guys because it was a good spot, but it wasn't off the top of the cage. That was a basic top rope, off the top rope superplex.
That wasn't even Seth wasn't
He
even on the
was
top rope. I think he
no,
was
no,
on like
he was on the top rope.
No, I'm saying like as far as like he could have gotten up there and they could have just superplexed off the
Yeah,
cage.
but they were going to do
Uh,
that. CM Punk's too old for that shit, and Seth's had back issues forever, so they're trying to do that as safe as possible.
Now, the only thing I think I got from Raw this week was Cody coming out there, and we beginning to see Cody turn heel. Okay, Cody is actively now being the a hole that we all knew he could be, and I love it for him because it's like he's like y'all playing in my face. Also, was it? It wasn't on Monday Night Raw, was it? It was Friday Night SmackDown, I think it was. We'll talk about somebody else realizing you can't always be nice. Nice doesn't work for everybody. And so, and also his eye. Listen, I don't know if you saw that Jay Uso clip when he was like, "They ain't teach that man how to work." That I was like, "Man, your eye and stuff is toe
Look,
up."
man, I'll give Cody Rhodes all the credit in the world for not giving Travis Scott any shit over him getting that black eye. But if it were me, nah, couldn't be me. Couldn't be
Couldn't be
me.
me. Cause it's like, and somebody broke it down where it's like when you watch it in the moment, afterwards when you break it down. First of all, Travis was not ready for the spot. He was trying to do his own thing. When you see John Cena kind of like try to tell him, "Hey, we got to get him on his stomach for him to get whipped," and then that's when Travis lines his head up to. I mean, he caught back and swung, and at that point, I'm like, "Is this? Did you not like this man for some reason? Do y'all got some type of history? Because you hit that man like he owed you money. Like that don't
I
make no
think I
sense."
think RVD made a comment, if I'm not mistaken, where he reiterated what a lot of people have known for years. Yes, RVD 420 for life, but he's never been high in the ring, and that
Yeah,
right there is dangerous. And Travis Scott is known for his use of whatever, whenever,
yeah.
and he first of all in the ring before he even touched anyone, he didn't look lucid, and then secondarily,
Well, The Rock told that on the press conference because afterwards, The Rock said he said, "Oh, I'm drinking my Termana tequila," and he was like, uh, "Before the match, I went into Travis Scott's bus, and he was like." Between getting so high on his bus off a contact high and drinking his tequila, I'm on cloud nine. And I
yeah,
said,
no,
"Oh yeah,
that's
he
that's
toe up."
dangerous at the end of the day, and obviously it proved out. um I understand.
Cody got to get
I've
him a
always
receipt. Cody
I
has to
doubt
get
it'll
him a receipt.
happen because of who Cody is. um and that's a respectable thing, but on top of everything else, you can't put your wrestlers in harm's way, just for the sake of celebrity.
Yes.
So, if dudes aren't going to take this shit seriously, if they're not going to be professional about it, or whatever the case is, get them out of
When we think about a lot of the celebrities have wrestled in the moment, a lot of times not even in the moment, but afterwards, we look back at those clips and we go, "Why did they hire them? What were they doing? Why were they there?"
there.
Um, Especially when it comes to like stuff like Pete Rose and
Yeah,
Kane,
no, look,
that whole back
that's
and forth.
it's. I agree with you. It's rare that it's good. People just like, I know it's been echoed this week, due to something AJ Styles said in that Chris Van Vliet interview, that wrestling is about the moments. And I understand the premise behind the statement, but to me, you have to understand what the moment is in order to make it, right? Um, and in this case, with what happened with Cody and Travis Scott and whatnot, um, I if it just for my sake, this is my personal opinion. I'm not putting that dude anywhere near my wrestlers. I'm just not. I'm just not.
Because even coming walking Jay Uso down to the ring when he was just like Jay Uso was like, I was like, yeah, wafted in my way. He said, then I looked down and saw kids, and I
Right.
was like, yo, you might want to cut
Right.
that out. You don't want to be around kids around. He's like, he was just standing there, just having a good time. I'm like, that look makes you look
and
bad.
and and and, and it's
And
not even the point that, oh, you do it. Nah, fam, go do it on your own freaking time recreationally. But there is, and I can be called a conservative for this or not, I don't really care. There is an appropriate time and place for shit to be done. So
also, the fact that The Rock said that the bus
yeah,
was full of smoke and he got a contact high, immediately my thought was, he shouldn't have been out there, but you shouldn't have said that because you all were in a different
yeah.
country.
So it's
And so that's not something that should have
yeah,
been
yeah.
done.
People have to be a little bit more weary of what it is that they're putting out there. I understand the whole the breaking the fourth wall thing is a different subject for what it is. But like I said, they
Yeah.
have to be more careful about the people that they put around their pro wrestlers, especially for people who've never been around the industry. So, um, yeah, rethink that whole process about Travis Scott is all I'm saying. Bad Bunny's been great. From a celebrity,
They said Travis wanted to wrestle, but he hasn't been training.
yeah,
So
he's
it's
no, he's
like,
not taking it seriously. So
yeah, at a certain point, I think Travis, not Travis, Bad Bunny, Logan Paul, Paul Walter Hauser. Sometimes he gives you a good here and there. Like he's mostly into hardcore death matches.
he's gonna be the head writer for MLW now. Yeah,
Yeah, but as far as
in
like
wrestling, yeah,
he's into
yeah.
that hardcore
That's the
kind of
thing.
matches, he can do those
Yeah.
very well. But I don't see too many people. What was that dude that was with Cody?
What one of the
Um,
Amell brothers from Arrow? Yeah,
yeah,
but he trained
yeah,
too. He yeah,
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Those are the type of people we need to come in, but not listen. I love, if you all do not know, I love a good Cardi B. But Cardi B mentioned she wants to wrestle. And I was like, sis, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Like maybe do like a spot where you slap somebody or
sure,
something, but
yeah.
don't get involved. Like don't be out here trying to have a full fledged tag team match or something with Bianca. I'm not
Yeah,
trying to do
because for certain folks, especially if they've never been if they're not physically active, if they've never uh, even if you try to train them up for a couple of months and things of that nature, it's just not gonna.
that. Ronda Rousey was
She's an
okay.
exception because she wasn't necessarily a celebrity. She was a full time wrestler, and she took to it. At the end of the day, there were times where she looked
Yeah.
really good, and then there were times when she was awful.
Well, she was in 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 the MMA world, she was a celebrity.
Well, yeah,
And so
she was.
I knew her from the MMA world because you all don't know I watch MMA, boxing, and any other sport. As long as somebody getting knocked out or losing some teeth, I'm there. Okay, so I was like, oh, okay, I know Ronda. But when she showed off her skills, I was like, oh, she's really good. She's picking it up. That's why she got the Kurt Angle kind of thing. But Kurt really wasn't as popular to me back in the day as most people. I really didn't care that much. But I began to love him and like his character. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go on to the next show. If I can get there. There we go. The next show is going to be NXT, ladies and gentlemen. NXT Roadblock 2025 was the special edition show that happened on Tuesday, the 11th. It was NXT 776 on the CW TNA World Tag Team title match. The Hardys, the Hardy Boys, Jeff and Matt Hardy, defeated Fraxium for the TNA World Tag Team title. Jordan Grace defeated Roxanne Perez. In the WWE NXT title match, Oba Femi defeated Moose. For the New York City Street Fight, Javon Evans defeated Ethan Page. For the WWE NXT women's title and the NXT women's North American title match, Stephanie Valkyra defeated Julia to become the unified champion. J News, did you see any of this and what did you think?
It was an excellent show for NXT. They um had their crowd was very lively. They were here in New York. They were at the Garden Theater, I believe, and it was an interesting. It was cool to see the venue again on TV because it's been a while since I had seen it on TV. Um, I went there many years ago for another NXT show, as a matter of fact, during their Black and Gold era. So, like I said, it was cool to see the theater back on television and things of that nature. Um, for folks who haven't been around or who this is their first time on the podcast, just understand and know I don't hate the Hardy Boys. I just feel like at this point in their careers, it is hard for me to watch them wrestle much. But I can't necessarily say that the match against Fraxium was a bad match. It was a decent match. The Hardys obviously retaining their TNA World Tag Team Championships, and it seems like the WWE is going to want to do more with the Hardys outside of them being in the NXT realm. So we'll see as to what the WWE ends up doing with the Hardy Boys in the future. This was Axiom's first appearance um, of two appearances during the week on WWE TV. We will mention the other one when we get to it. But those boys are still a strong tag team in the WWE tag team ranks. Jordan Grace versus Roxanne Perez was fine. Um, for what it was, it wasn't for whatever reason I was expecting more from it, but the girls did a good job, so it was cool. Obafemi and Moose, uh, I feel like the match over delivered. If I'm not, if I may be so bold, and that's good for both Obafemi and Moose. Javon Evans and Ethan Page was cool for the spots that it had. Um, I don't know if I dislike Ethan Page for the fact that he's such a good heel, or if I'm just not interested in his shtick. I'm still a little bit like in between with Ethan Page. But Javon Evans looked good. Ethan Page made Javon Evans look like $1 million in the street fight and whatnot. And um, even after the freaking street fight was over, it just seemed like Ethan Page was still able to get the one up on Javon Evans, even though Javon Evans got the win in the match. Um, and then what everybody was expecting, if folks paid close enough attention, understanding what Julia's condition coming into the match was. She's been a bit banged up and injured. So this was a way for WWE to write Julia off of TV for a little bit as she recuperates and heals up. And she was defeated for her NXT Women's Championship by Stephanie Vaquer. And Stephanie and Julia, even with Julia hurt, put on a tremendous match. And yeah, they delivered. They delivered the goods, and now Stephanie's in the crosshairs of all the ladies on the NXT Women's roster. I think there was like a segment where I saw Mickey James and Jada Parker having a verbal exchange and things of that nature, basically, giving each other flowers and things and whatnot. So that was interesting. That was cool to see. And I don't know if there's other like backstage stuff I'm forgetting right now. I think the
Undertaker with
Femi,
Obafemi.
yeah, and
Yeah, it kind of gave him. It was kind of like, you know how you get your
yeah,
street cred, like somebody just like endorses you. He kind of like was like, yeah, go out there and defend your
yeah,
yard. And the craziest thing, it was like Moose came out and they was screaming Moose, and then when Oba came out, they was like, I don't know what they were screaming. It sounded like they were just grunting, and it was like, but to the Moose beat, and I was like, I thought Oba had like, and he was out there doing this little, 1970 strut, and I was like, okay, go ahead. But the match was. It's good that they're finding people to fit with. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. They don't have too many.
Uh
They don't have too many. They don't have too many big guys on the NXT men's roster. So having Obafemi be able to have that match against Moose was a good show and a good showing for both guys, as a matter of fact. So that was, like I said, it was a strong match nonetheless, and it over delivered in my estimation. So good for them. What happens with Stephanie from here on out is up to WWE Creative, and hopefully they write her strongly enough to put her in matches with girls who are able to rise to the occasion in the ring against her, because she is very, very well polished in that ring. And for the girls who don't have that sort of experience, it's going to be tough for them to look good in matches with Stephanie. So, um,
I think she also is a hard
yeah,
hitter because we saw her coming up, and I don't think a lot of the ladies can deal with that. Now, one person I would like her to face, but not in NXT, but necessary, it could be NXT, would be Shayna Baszler.
that would be interesting. I just don't know if the WWE would do that. Uh,
Because Shayna has previous before Jade been known to be a little bit rough. Jade was known to be rough, but she kind of has softened a lot when it comes to her hitting because that was a backstage thing that even on their AEW show was talked about that Jade threw punches like she was really fighting. But she's kind of slacked off on that. But Shayna is a hard hitter. She's been an MMA fighter. She knows martial arts. I think that would be a match where they wouldn't pull punches and it would be good because you will see two women really having a hard hitting like house fight with each other.
we'll see. We'll see what the WWE does, but I think they're gonna use this double title thing to get some of the other girls who have been on the NXT women's roster for a bit, some more limelight. So hopefully
Yeah.
Stephanie's able to. I hate to use the term, but hopefully Stephanie's able to carry some of them to good matches to see if if some light can be shone on them in order for them to start to transition out of the NXT women's roster, because some of them have been there for quite some time, and there hasn't been much growth. And I'm not too sure if that has to do with the girls themselves and or just the writing on the show in general. So we'll see. But dope match between Stephanie and Julia, and hopefully there's just better things to come.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're on to our next show of the week was SmackDown. SmackDown was 1334 on the 14th on the USA Network. We had Braun Strowman, Jimmy Uso, and LA Knight defeat Jacob Fatu, Solo Sokoa, and Tamatonga. Charlotte Flair defeated B-Fab, Damian Priest, and Shinsuke Nakamura ended in a DQ. Randy Orton defeated Carmelo Hayes. Gunther defeated Axiom. And for the WWE Tag Team title match, the Street Profits of Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford defeated DIY of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa in a title change. Jay News, did you watch this and what did you think?
Yeah, SmackDown was fun for the sake of it being in Barcelona, Spain. They That crowd was amazing. One, I wish that more wrestling crowds were like that, but European tours are done but so many times a year. So big shout out to the crowd in Spain for doing it up and turning up for WWE SmackDown. So I wanted to put that in there. Secondarily, of the matches of the night, um, another dope ass promo by Jacob Fatu on the way to the ring. Solo seemed to be really into it as well, hyping up Jacob Fatu.
Solo was laughing his butt off
Yeah,
in the back. He had to cover his
he was.
mouth because Jacob was like, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna cuss, and I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do. Ain't nobody gonna stop me in this
Yeah, man.
piece.
Solo was all about it. I appreciate him, um, backing up his cousin there. But I feel like that's just leading towards something. So we'll see how it all works out there. Charlotte versus BFAB. I think that their backstage interactions have been good. From a verbal exchange standpoint, BFAB has gotten much better in the ring. Way to go with all the training that she's been doing in the Dungeon 2.0 with Natty and TJ. It showed in that match versus Charlotte, but obviously they're not going to be having Charlotte out here losing. So Charlotte beat Fab, and then they got Charlotte into a tiffy with Tiffy after the match. Tiffy took a dive.
I just want to say, Tiffy, you dived
Yeah.
off the top of that Titantron and totally missed Charlotte. You just hit everybody
But
else but Charlotte.
to be fair, right? To be fair, yes, she did miss Charlotte, absolutely. But to be fair, Tiffy had to get caught because the last couple of weeks, nobody been catching Tiffy going to the outside. So props, props
Tiffany,
to,
was it Tiffany been having
yeah,
a time getting
exactly.
caught?
So
Yeah.
props to Spanish security for catching Tiff this time around, coming off the Titantron. Um,
Listen, I think Charlotte, A, you stop messing with your face. I appreciate that because you've gotten a little older. You need to stop that. Second of all, I appreciate, was it last week? Or yes, it was last week, where she did the figure eight and high heel boots. Listen, as a woman, walking in them is difficult, but let alone doing the figure eight. Okay. At that moment, I was like, is there, you just a genetic freak at this point? Because I have seen her work out. Even when she worked out with Seamus, Seamus was like, so I got to do all that. Like at a certain point, I think people think she's made a name off, made a way off her name, but she is really
no,
athletic.
no, she's always
And
always been that.
and I think she has a opportunity in this matchup with Tiffany to kind of guide her in a way where it could help her better herself. Because she's like, if you really think about it, she's like Tiff is like a mini Charlotte.
Yeah, you're not the first or last person to say that. But at the end of the day, Charlotte Flair has always been an amazing athlete before wrestling. And obviously in wrestling, at the end of the day, I never take anything away from her. Um, I do my best to stay away from um, the body shaming shit's never been my thing. Um, if I can say, if I
I
can
think I think
if I can be bold
Charlotte,
about her fashion sense for a minute. That's been trying since she's been back. Some of the attire that she's been wearing, um, I will say this isn't necessarily flattering to her build. Especially those boots you were talking about that she was wearing when she did that figure eight the week.
they were like three sizes too big, and the heels were like 9 inches. And I
I
was
don't
like,
know what she was wearing that night. What the hell was
she getting
that?
on stuff. She getting on her and Self the shopping at the same place at this
No,
point.
man. This and like I said, it just doesn't. You have a certain type of frame. You got to wear stuff that suits your frame, and it wasn't working, man. It wasn't working. That's just the fashion end of it, or whatever the case is. But she's a hell of a wrestler. Obviously, we know her lineage and all that stuff. But she's carved out her. I feel she's carved out her own lane.
Yeah, and then I see a lot of people online lately being like, well, she's getting older. I'm like, when they talk about, because a lot of people online after Friday, some of them had to say something about her face. And I'm like, she has chosen to stop doing this stuff. It gets dangerous. You get older and you keep getting on these tables, you might not get up. So I'm proud of her to accept who she is at this point.
Fair enough.
And I think that's what some of us women wrestling fans like, is that, like, when you just when you ain't all with the frillers and the trills and the tricks. That's why I love Rhea Ripley. I'm secretly an emo girl. She comes out there, the Rhea Ripley that we saw in NXT with the blonde hair and all the rest of that. I didn't connect to her. But when she became who she is, tattooed up, out here rocking, having a good time, that's when I connected to her. And I think a lot of women wrestling fans like people they can connect to. Yeah, you have your Tiffany's. Yeah, you have your Charlottes back in the day. But we really connect to those people who seem genuine and you can get to know. I think that's why people love Bianca, is because she's genuine and you get to know her. Now she did come out looking fire out of Madison Square Garden, uh, looking like she was a bound of money. But I did, when I say about people learning that being nice is not always the best. Sometimes EO is learning it in her character because she let Rhea mush her and she let Bianca mush her. And then she was like, I'm sick of this stuff. I'm the champion. Y'all are ruining my moment. And she mushed both of them. Well, she
Yeah, she
slapped
slapped
both of
both
them,
of them.
really.
So she stood up for herself, which I thought was something that was necessary and that was needed. Um, and Io Sky Io Shirai has been one of the top women's performers in the world for over a decade at this point, and for the WWE to finally make her feel like she is of the same, if of certain level of importance, if not the same level of importance as Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. It's about damn time. So that was a cool moment to see in that regard. I think that happened on Raw though, and not on SmackDown. Um,
I thought it was on SmackDown because they mentioned the Jade when Rhea told her to go back to Jade, and then the next thing was Jade getting interviewed in the
okay, all right,
stands.
fair enough, fair enough.
And so that's why I was like, "Oh my God,
But
she's really standing up for." It could have been Monday night, but I was like, "She's really standing up for
yeah,
herself," and I'm really appreciative of it. Then we had Cody come out, and he's like, "Miz, I know you with the shits. Here we go." And he didn't even get that man a chance to even say nothing stupid too much before he was like, you know what, Crossroads, we're gonna take it that way. And then he's let it be known he is not taking anybody else's crap. He is not doing it. He ain't for it. This ain't the time of the day. It's on site if you got something to say. And I was like, "Fuck doggone time, Cody. You been letting people talk about you like a dog. I mean like a dog. It's about time you stand up for yourself." And this whole Gunther versus Axiom, I could have did without that match. I
you on
enjoyed
your own
it,
with
but
that.
I could have
You
did.
on your own with that. That was the best match WWE's put on TV in months, maybe even years. At the end of the day, you on your own with that one. Gunther versus Action
I mean, the match was
should be
good,
watched
but it served no
by
purpose
everyone.
for
It's,
who in the
of course, is
storyline.
storyline purpose aside, weekly TV only it accumulates. Gunther versus Axiom worked because Axiom is from Spain. They were in Spain. Spanish man versus the world champ in a terrific bout. Makes sense to me on weekly TV.
Listen, listen. My match of the night, if you all want to go back and watch, was that I mentioned last week that the Street Profits and their vignettes and that they deserved a chance at the title to get a better chance so they could win. And I was hoping they won. When they won and Dawkins was looked like he was sitting there crying holding the title, I said, this is my moment to be like, I love the Street Profits. I'm glad that they got a chance now. Whether that is WWE now, whether or not they hold this to WrestleMania, I don't know. Whether or not they're gonna have some good matches after this, I don't know. But this was good, and the title change because we've seen them get screwed so many times really wasn't expected because it was like I've seen them think that they were going to win so many times and didn't. That this time, when I thought they were going to win and they swerved us towards the end, it was like, I'm so glad because we had that half a almost three where it looked like they were going to win. And then I think it was Tommaso kicked out. And I was like, oh, they're going to screw them. And then they actually won. And I was so excited. So I think out of the whole night, I liked that. I did like that they talked to Jade. I'm trying to still figure out what Liv and Raquel has something to do with this because they seemed adamant and kind of like egging it on. Bianca seems traumatized every time you see talk about Jade and Naomi. So it's like, does she have something to play in it? Their storylines and connecting things are working out. Shinsuke Nakamura and Damian Priest. I wish I could see more of that. I wish it hadn't ended in a DQ. Randy Orton. Randy Orton gonna Randy Orton. And once he tried to kick Carmelo's head off the week before, I realized Carmella ain't had no chance of winning this at all. But I did enjoy this. I enjoyed out of the three shows on WWE this week, I enjoyed NXT the first. This would be second, and then Raw would be third. Surprisingly, I did see the LFG, I think it's called. I caught the first episode. I went back and watched the first episode. I think they're better than this iteration is a little bit better than Tough Enough. It's better than Tough Enough. So I might can continue to watch it. Just depends on how it goes. Because they're supposed to be having a second season after this. And was it the ID, the WWID, the thing that comes on? I watched that episode and I did watch Speed. I just don't like them other two. But LFG I can put up with. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're on to the next show and next company, which is AEW, All Elite Wrestling. And we will be doing Dynamite. Dynamite. Ladies and gentlemen, Dynamite was on 284 on the 12th. It comes on TBS and HBO Max simulcasting. The Ops defeated Eli. This is J News whole section.
Uh, I have
Theseus.
no idea who these gentlemen are. I read something. It's Eli Theseus, Gabriel Eros, and Vinny Pacifico. Of these three gentlemen, Vinny Pacifico's name is the only name that I know because Vinny's been on the independent scene for a long period of time.
Yeah.
According to a report that I had read earlier, either today or yesterday, Eli Theseus and Gabriel Eros are supposedly a very sought after tag team on the indie circuit, and I've never heard of these two guys. They're known as the Pareas or whatever the case is. And I never heard of them. You've never brought them up, so I know that they're not that popular if we've never covered them. And for all intents and purposes, they were just cannon fodder for the Ops as the Ops get the win here on Dynamite.
Maybe they popular in their hood. Hologram and Powerhouse Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs defeated Brian Cage and Jalistico. We had the AEW International Title Eliminator Tournament first round match. Mike Bailey defeated the Beast Mortos. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Max Caster. I don't know why I want to call that man Mike every week. Max Caster. Willow Nightingale defeated Penelope Ford. And for the AEW International Title Eliminator Tournament first round match, Orange Cassidy defeated Hechicero. J News, did you see any of this and what did you think?
Yeah. It was a good episode of Dynamite, even though good, not great. It was a good episode of Dynamite, even though I felt like when I was watching it, it felt like it was a little bit thrown together. That's what it felt like. To go through the matches, the feud between the Luchadors on AEW, Hologram, Jalistico, the Beast Mortos, Commander, and things of that nature. That's being worked on AEW TV. Powerhouse Hobbs is still having his beef with members of the Don Callis family, be it Brian Cage, be it Lance Archer, be it Big Mark Davis, and things of that nature. So they've got that brewing on AEW TV as well. The Beast Mortos is now how do I say, a little hypnotized by Harley Graham. Harley Graham being a a distraction on the outside for the Beast Mortos, to say the least. That distraction was then again put on display on Collision. We then had the AEW first round match for the Eliminator Intercontinental or International title thing. Mike Bailey was the wild card here. Mike Bailey making his AEW debut. AEW officially making it official that Mike Bailey is All Elite. He had a tremendous match against the Beast Mortos. Takeshita filling out the Max Caster card. Max Caster continuing his gimmick, his shtick, uh, deeming himself the best wrestler alive because he trademarked it, but yet continuously losing his matches in short order. Takeshita pissed off due to his loss at AEW Revolution, came out, dropped Max Caster real quick, and that was that. It was great to see Willow back on AEW TV. I think they could have used the opportunity of Willow being on AEW TV to promote her match on Tokyo Joshi Pro, but they didn't do that. So Willow was just back on AEW TV to further the storyline with Megan Bain in a sense. Willow Nightingale getting the win on Penelope Ford, but Megan Bain coming out after the fact. She took out I believe no, I'm sorry. Penelope Ford after the loss continued to beat on Willow Nightingale. As she beat on Willow Nightingale, we had Chris Statlander come down to the ring for the save. After Chris came down for the save, we saw Megan Bain come out and leave everybody parted. Megan Bain seems to be getting quite the push on AEW TV, so look out for that. And then a match that I did not know was going to go as well as I thought it was going to go, but Orange Cassidy doing Orange Cassidy things versus the Alchemist of the Ring, Hechicero. That was, to me, it was a very creative match. It was a fun match for me to watch. I thinking about it, I felt like they could have just had Hechicero win the match, but they didn't. They had OC win the match going into this four-way coming up in this week's episode of Dynamite. But it was a fun match to watch. Good contrast in styles between Hechicero and Orange Cassidy. But yet again, another one of those showings where Orange Cassidy gives people the visualization of just how good of a wrestler Orange Cassidy is in the ring. So that was a cool match to watch there. There were other highlights throughout the night that were shown based on what had occurred at Revolution. MJF and Adam Page had another backstage encounter and interaction. We had Swerve Strickland, basically making his case for being the number one contender going into Dynasty against Jon Moxley, that is. And then if there's anything else that I'm forgetting right now, probably, but those are the two things that come to mind right off the bat. And Toni Storm had her spotlight promo, which was short and was an all-time timeless promo, but she was attacked by Megan Bain after her promo was done. So that is putting Megan Bain into a spotlight now where she is probably going to eventually have a match with Toni Storm for that AEW Women's World Championship. So we saw Megan Bain twice on AEW TV on Dynamite, that is. And we saw even more of her on Collision when we get to that. So Megan Bain definitely getting that push into the spotlight on AEW TV.
I'm glad because I've been watching on GCW. Do good work, great work. I'm sad that they broke up Genesis and make me mad, but Joey is hurt, so that's okay. But Joey, we'll get into that. He got attacked by Sabu last week. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to the next show, which will be ROH Ring of Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, Ring of Honor, it was 107 on the 13th. You can catch it on the Ring of Honor app or the ROHWrestling.com. Spanish Announce Project and Helico and Serpentico defeated Alpha Zoe and CSJ. Blake Christian defeated Titus Alexander. Leela Gray defeated Lady Frost. Gates of Agony, along with Top Flight, uh, defeated the Frat House of Cole, Carter, Preston Vance, the Premier Athletes, Ari Daivari, and Tony Nese. Ladies and gentlemen, Dark Panther defeated Aaron Solo. Katsuri Shibata defeated Lee Johnson. Atlantis, I still can't get their name right.
Esfinge.
Esfinge
Yeah.
and Mystico defeated
Euphoria.
Euphoria
Mhm.
and Rocky Romero and Valente.
Yes, ma'am.
You see, listen, I be listening sometime when they be talking. Okay. J News, did you?
I did not get to see any of this. The things that popped on to socials for ROH wrestling for the week were there was a big highlight on Blake Christian and the good work that he's been doing as of late. Layla Gray's win over Lady Frost was a spotlight for ROH TV this week. The return of the one and only Angelico. Uh, after all those months off of injury. It was good to see him back, man. One of my Lucha Underground OGs there in that Helico, man. Always good to see him in the ring. This man, I don't know what they're doing with the Gates of Agony, really, man, and it pisses me off. This is like the fourth iteration of whatever kind of faction they're trying to put Preston Vance in. I don't get it. I just found out that Preston Vance and Cole Carter and Griff Garrison, along with Jack Jameson, were all part of the same faction. I understand that probably came together because of things out of their control.
Yeah, they put everybody who ain't got no business being together in one group, and then
Yeah, because Jack Jameson was a part of the team there, with one of the members unfortunately getting fired due to some domestic violence charges and things of that nature, and then left his other tag team partner basically flailing in the wind. So he doesn't have anything to do right now on ROH TV. And then with Maria Kanellis being gone from ROH, that left Cole Carter and Griff Garrison without a mother figure, basically. So left them out of that. So they put those scraps together. I guess Griff's been in AEW too long at this point for me to. And
I
I'm
think
not the
I
I'm not
think
the
Griff need to leave.
yeah, I'm not the boss, but and I'm never going to say people need to lose their jobs, but Griff needs to be doing something else at this point, or going somewhere else to get more reps and get a different look at what wrestling is supposed to be, because he hasn't really grown much since he's been with AEW. I think since 2021 or 2020, maybe even at that point.
Now,
Um,
do we put Griff in the Indies, or do we put Griff with his friend in NXT?
Nah, Griff needs to go somewhere where he's going to learn the trade in a different style. So if I'm an advisor to Griff Garrison, I would advise him to do what Japanese wrestlers do and go on excursion. Like Griff, go to Mexico. Griff, go to the UK. Griff, go to Japan. Learn these different styles and then come back to me. Griff Garrison going to the WWE is
I
never.
don't think Griff would do good in Mexico. Griff, I'm just gonna say from the outside looking in, Griff looks like he he enjoys his looks, and they would want to teach him a lesson, and Griff would probably he can't handle that. I think maybe Griff could do a little bit of hardcore work, maybe
No,
GCW, maybe Progress,
no.
maybe HOG Wrestling Revolver. I would stick him around it because that also he can also still be with AEW but work with these companies and get his reps in, because I've seen people grow. You'll hear me talk about a match which I saw of where I'm seeing even Zilla this weekend grow.
Yeah, I don't.
So
I don't think Griff being under the AEW umbrella is going to help him at all. He needs to go out there and learn the business from another standpoint, just so he can get a different appreciation for it. That's just my vantage point of it all. And yeah, some sort of an excursion would probably work best for him. Either going to the UK, going to Japan, like I said, going to Mexico and things of that nature. Travel internationally, get involved with the different styles and understanding what the psychology behind professional wrestling is from all these different perspectives and then bring it back to the US if that's something that he wants to do. But him being under the AEW umbrella or him being part of the PC, nah, man, forget that. That's that is not what that kid needs at the end of the day. And mind you, he's in his mid-20s. He needs to grow into his body a little bit more. That's a joke.
Okay, so I would say after seeing what you would call, it wasn't an excursion. It wasn't an excursion. But I would see from when NXT sent some people for pro wrestling Noah, that might be an option.
That's an excursion. Travis was out there for what, a month? That's an
Yeah,
excursion. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
And I think they've kind of grown from being
Yes,
out there. Yeah.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
would
yeah,
say
yeah.
that was it.
Tavion,
Ladies,
my bad. Tavion Heights. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Tavion did great. Being out there for a month and stuff like that. If AEW knew any better, they would use their relationships with these other companies that they have these relationships with to do that with their younger talent, and they don't, and they should.
Yeah. That's why I was mentioning the LFG that I watched the first, I think, first episode, is that you now have people who, tough enough. It almost seemed like they were just doing challenges to get whatever. Now you getting like people like Taker and other people who are hands on, talking to them, telling what they're doing wrong, making them get their honing their skills together. So I think they AEW needs to set something in place, not a show, but just something in place where I think I'm okay. Let me inside baseball with you all. I, as an adult, learned there's a way of telling you to do something than asking you to do something. And when you are, people say to me all the time, AEW, they train people that, you can train with Brian, you can train with Omega, you can train, but you are not requiring them to do that. You are asking them to do that. And if you're asking a young person to do something that they really don't want to do, guess what? They're not going to do it. And they're not going to get the skills. If you say, hey, because you're new here, you're going to have to meet with these people, once a week or twice a week or whatever till we get this down pat, that is requiring them to do it. And that's a difference. I think that if you ask somebody, just like Danielson said that Jade was the only one who really was stay out the class and want to talk to her and pick his brain and kind of figure out things. And at first she was the only person who was really wanting to come to his classes. That means she really had a love and a want to better herself in this business. For that to be a class to be open and free for you to take and nobody shows up but Jade, that tells you people don't have the mindset. Young people, I hate to say it, sometimes young people don't have the mindset to invest in themselves for a later date.
Yeah, no, I agree with your sentiment. I feel like because AEW doesn't have like a proper performance center like the WWE does, right? I think that it'll be. I'm not too sure if it'll be something they work towards as a private entity, but I do believe and agree with what you're saying. With these veteran wrestlers that are at AEW that have these seminars and classes and things of that nature, and some of these, some maybe it could be younger wrestlers, it could be wrestlers who've been in the business for a long period of time to not take advantage, or who are like vets in the business to not take advantage of these free seminars slash classes slash training sessions that guys like a Brian Danielson or a Kenny Omega or Dustin Rhodes put together at AEW. That's on them. That's on the talent, and that to me is not taking advantage of your resources at the end of the day. And when you don't take advantage of your resources, you can't blame anyone but yourself if you
Yeah,
fall
because
short.
it's not even that, it's even the dungeon. You can go in there and take, you know,
Yeah,
advantage
but
of what Natty and them are offering.
the thing with dungeon is, and it's very specific with what Natty and TJ are doing. They only have like a certain number of slots available.
Yeah,
So if they don't have any availability for you, they're not gonna take you at the
yeah.
end of the day. So yeah,
It's like even try to get in there and try to get into some of these places where like QT or Dustin, try to get into these places. Cody was even back when he was involved with them, offering for people to uh come in and wrestle and do things, and they were just opposed to it. So I think at a certain point you have to make that requirement. Also to know when to hit your spots, when to look in the camera, these are things that you need to provide for them to know. Even when we talked about before, AEW, you had people coming in from other countries who did not know where they were going, where they could get stuff at, and other wrestlers would have to help them get into that process. That's something that somebody should have been taking care of. So I think that's what they need to implement, where you are required. Once I see your skills on TV and I know you might be missing something, I need to make sure you are getting this thing fixed. Because if not, you're not going to just be hurting me, or not me in my pockets, but the company, and maybe hurt somebody else. And we've seen so many injuries in AEW, it's not even funny. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go on to the last TV show of this week from AEW, and it will be Collision, ladies and gentlemen. Collision was 84 on the 15th, which was yesterday, on TNT. Is it TNT HBO for them too?
Yeah, it's TNT and Max.
Okay, I'll have to make sure that, because I always watch it on TNT. So that's AEW International Title Eliminator Tournament first round match. Ricochet defeated Katsuyori Shibata. Powerhouse Hobbs defeated Griff Garrison. For the AEW International Title Eliminator Tournament first round match, Mark Davis defeated Mark Briscoe. 4-on-2 handicap match. The Murder Machines, Brian Cage, Lance Archer defeated Bryce Saturn El Fatal. That's how you say it, James?
Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be said in Spanish, El Fatal, but
Fatal.
yeah.
Yeah. Matt Vandergriff and Sonico.
Sonico, yeah, Sonico.
Uh, as you all see, I put that there because that was 29 seconds of my time. 29 seconds. That was not fair. Ladies and gentlemen, Hologram and Top Flight defeated Shane Taylor Productions. We had Megan Bain defeat Thunder Rosa. And FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood defeated the Undisputed Kingdom of Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. Did you see this, J News, and what did you think?
Yes, I did see this, and excuse for my loud ass niece in the background. Um, I saw this, and I liked how everything tied. Collision seemed like a more cohesive program this week than Dynamite did, because everything from the beginning to the show to the end of the show tied in well and nicely together. I wanted to pick out here fun match between Shibata and Ricochet. Real fun match there. Powerhouse Hobbs, that was really more of a layup win over Griff Garrison. What the hell is Griff Garrison doing in there at Powerhouse Hobbs? I don't know. Mark Davis versus Mark Briscoe was a fun match. That pendulum pile driver that Mark Davis does as a finisher is pretty cool to see always. So it was interesting to see Mark Davis get the win over Mark Briscoe here. So I would say that was a surprise of the show. It was an upset win in that particular regard. The whole Murder Machines match with the 4-on-2 handicap match, it actually started at the beginning of the show because the Murder Machines actually beat the crap out of those four guys at the start of the show in the back. And then at the middle of the show, when the match actually happened, they carried these four gentlemen out to the ring in order to continue to beat their asses and then finally actually get the win there. When I did finally see young Mac Vandergriff clearly, I said, look at that New Japan Strong kid on AEW TV get his ass whooped. Got to appreciate that. Hologram and Top Flight versus STP was another fun match. Love the fact that STP's on TV every week. Those guys are all strong. Shane Taylor, Carly Bravo, Sean Dean, Lee Moriarty needs some more shining up, but I can appreciate what they're trying to do with STP on Collision. Hologram is a bona fide star. The dudes from Top Flight, man, that's another pair of young wrestlers there that could probably that an excursion to another company, another country could probably do them some good, man. because they haven't really been able to capitalize on their opportunities on AEW TV. So there's that. But during that particular match specifically, we did have the newly named crew tag team of Leo Rush and Action Andretti sitting at the stage watching this match because it seemed like they're finally going to get into and blow off the feud between Dante Martin and Darius Martin and Leo Rush and Action Andretti and things of that nature. And we've also seen interactions with the crew and the Hurt Syndicate as well in recent weeks. Just in passing and things of that nature. So it seems like they're really trying to solidify this new crew tag team in the tag team division for AEW. So good for those guys there. Megan Bain, also uh, another particular talent on the show that started her collision off early in collision. She beat the crap out of Thunder Rosa in the back, giving Thunder Rosa injured ribs, and then Thunder comes out later out in the nighttime, later on in the show, should I say, for her match versus Megan Bain with taped up ribs. Megan Bain just taking advantage of Thunder Rosa and beating the crap out of her, but a really, really well put together match between Thunder Rosa and Megan Bain. It went longer than I thought it would, and it was a really good showing for both ladies. Uh, Shouts to Thunder Rosa for all of her selling and things of that nature and trying her hardest. If folks had not noticed this, they should. Thunder Rosa has been trying her hardest to get Megan Bain over for the last several weeks on AEW TV, and I think that she finally was able to accomplish that here in this particular match. After the match was over, Thunder Rosa was in no condition to get up and do things on her own. She did need help from Chris Statlander after the fact to be helped out from ringside and things of that nature. And Tony Storm also made her way down to the ring to get one up on Megan Bain after the attack that Megan Bain put on Tony Storm on Wednesday night on Dynamite. But to no avail. Megan Bain hit the F5 on Tony Storm and put her down. So it seems like we're going towards Megan Bain versus Tony Storm, probably a Dynasty. And we'll see how that works out for Megan Bain. I don't expect Megan to win, but this is AEW basically putting all their chips on one talent and really trying to put that quote unquote rocket pack on Megan Bain right now. So good for Megan. I think she's a strong in ring talent. Her attitude and her poise and her overall energy on TV and on camera is really, 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 really uh, cool and different in my estimation. But I haven't heard her talk as of yet, so I don't necessarily know as to what her promo skills are going to be like. So that's a wait and see thing for me as well. And then to end the night, we had another terrific tag team match between FTR and the Undisputed Kingdom. These gentlemen can do no wrong during these tag team matches, man. Shouts to Kyle and Roderick and Dax and Cash, man. It was a hell of a match. Where it seems that we're going to get a series out of this between FTR and the Undisputed Kingdom, and I'm here for it. And then finally, we're going to get that one-on-one match between Daniel Garcia and Adam Cole for the TNT Championship with a definitive finish. And I feel like Adam Cole will become the new AEW TNT champion in due time. But we'll get that soon. But yeah, man, good episode of Collision, strong overall, and that the Collision this week was definitely better for me than the Dynamite.
Yep, I agree. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to a show that came on last Sunday after we got offline. It was AEW's Revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, it came on the 9th. This is the pre-show matches. We had Hologram and Commander defeat Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. We had Daniel Garcia and the Undisputed Kingdom of Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong defeat Shane Taylor Promotions, Charlie Bravo, Lee Moriarty, Shane Taylor, and Sean Dean. We had Big Boom AJ and the conglomeration of Mark Briscoe and Ernst Cassidy defeat Johnny TV and the MXM Collection, Mansoor and Mason. J News, do you have anything about the pre-show you want to talk about?
Just to say that Hologram and Commander killed it against Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. It was my first time seeing Lee Johnson back on AEW TV in quite some time.
Yeah,
So
he had been doing ROH, not yeah,
yeah,
ROH, and then he had some indie bookings.
yeah. So it was my first time seeing Lee Johnson. Every time I see Lee Johnson on TV, it just reminds me of Cody Rhodes, and not in the positive way. We'll see how Lee Johnson's career trajectory continues on AEW. But it was cool to see him on AEW pre-show TV, I guess. The other tag matches, honestly, I could have just done without. The Garcia and the Undisputed Kingdom versus the STP was fun, but we've been getting a lot of that on both Collision, more on Collision than Dynamite, but we've been getting that bubbling over on both of those shows. So I didn't necessarily see the need here on the pre-show for this match. And then obviously the Big Boom AJ and the Conglomeration match is always used as a promo bit for AEW and things of that nature, especially with how popular Big Boom AJ still is on social media, along with his sons and along with his son and his family and the Rizzler and stuff like that. I thought MXM Collection did their usual comedy bit here. An interesting tidbit that came to mind when I saw this match was how Taya Valkyrie was involved with Johnny TV again. Yes, no doubt. I know Johnny TV and Taya Valkyrie are married in real life. It's just weird for me from an AEW continuity standpoint because I've been so accustomed to seeing Taya Valkyrie with Deonna Purrazzo as of late as them being the vendetta, but it seems like they've done away with that, being that Deonna Purrazzo has quote unquote gone home. Not necessarily knowing if that's going to return to TV or not, but we'll see how that all plays out. But yeah, that's that.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was on YouTube if you want to go back and watch it. But we're now on to the main card of Revolution, which was on Triller TV, Amazon Prime, and any of your pay-per-view providers. Or however you get it. Okay. Uh, Adam Page defeated MJF. AEW TBS title match. Mercedes Monet defeated Momo Watanabe. AEW World Title number one contendership match. Swerve Strickland, yes, I swerve when I drive, defeated Ricochet. AEW Continental title match. Kazuchika Okada defeated Brody King. An AEW World Tag Team title match. The Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin defeated the Outrunners of Truth Magnum and Torborg Floyd. AEW Women's World Title match. Hollywood ending match. Tony Storm defeated Mariah May. AEW International title match. Kenny Omega defeated Konosuke Takeshita in a title change. We had a steel cage match where Will Ospreay defeated Kyle Fletcher. And for the AEW World Title three-way match, John Moxley defeated Christian Cage and Cope. J News, what did you feel about this pay-per-view show?
I thought that the majority of the show was really, really good to great until we got to the main event. They ruined it with the main event. That's really all I have to say about that. If I'm going to dig into the weeds, I think that the AEW World Title three-way match, it was eventually a three-way match, but it started off as a one-on-one match between John Moxley and Cope. It was overbooked at the tail end of the match. Wheeler Yuta got involved, and there wasn't much confusion with Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta continued to side with the Death Riders as he hit the Bazaico knee on Cope. But eventually Christian Cage came down to the ring and put his contract or signed his contract and made it a three-way match between him, Moxley, and Cope. Cope was down at this point in time. Christian trying to take advantage of the opportunity of Cope being down and actually getting the pin on Cope, but John Moxley thwarted that attempt from Christian Cage. Then John Moxley chokes out Christian Cage to retain the AEW World Championship. From my own personal perspective, At the end of the day, I thought it was the wrong decision to keep that AEW World Championship on Jon Moxley. You're building to earlier in the night. Swerve Strickland won his match versus Ricochet in a fun match, which made Swerve the number one contender to the AEW World Title. You can do a Swerve getting the AEW World Championship back from anyone at this point. It didn't have to be Jon Moxley. Moxley's character, Moxley's storyline with the Death Riders thing has it ran its course a while ago, and AEW seems to be doubling down on it. Um, and they need to learn as a company when to, and they were good at it at first. When they saw something wasn't working, they would scrap it. But in this case, being that the parties involved are the parties involved, they feel like they can't scrap this storyline for whatever reason, and it needs to be scrapped. But that main event really put a not a huge damper for me, but a damper nonetheless on the show, which by majority was great. Adam Page and MJF as the starter match was dope. Mercedes and Momo, it started off on low key with the fans, but then it really started to rise and it hit its peak. So I was happy for the ladies when that happened, when the crowd really got into the match. So Mercedes and Momo came off well, but they both came out a tad bit injured after the match. Mercedes got kicked in the mouth. Momo had an ankle injury after the fact. Like I said, Swerve Strickland and Ricochet was a fun match to watch. Ricochet really coming into his own with this newfound character of his over the last couple of months, and especially his in-ring ability has always, to me at least, never been in question. Okada and Brody King was a good match for where it was. I thought Okada and Brody King was supposed to be the simmer down match of the night, but they did not use it as that. But it was a decent match nonetheless. The Hurt Syndicate match versus the Outrunners actually was better. Was better than it had any business being, if I'm being quite honest. The Outrunners got way more offense in this match than I thought that they would. We all knew they weren't going to win, but at the end of the day, the Hurt Syndicate made the Outrunners look much better than I thought they would in this match, and that's a testament to the professionals that the Hurt Syndicate are. The AEW World Title, Women's World Title match was amazing. It was fantastic. Tony Storm and Mariah May in 13 minutes did what a lot of wrestlers can't do in half an hour to 45 minutes. And a testament to both women for killing it and putting on an amazing brawl. Too much blood for Tony. Tony was visually pissed off with how she she started bleeding because it was just a bit too much at the end of the day. But they put the finishing touches on a great and creative storyline that has lasted over 18 months, and what a hell of an ending. That should have been the main event. That should have ended the show with the way that they filmed it and produced the match. But AEW decided against it, and that's to their detriment for this specific show. Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita was great. It's fantastic. It's Kenny. It's Takeshita. I don't think they can ever put on bad matches. The match of the night, if we're talking for real, was Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Did they go a little bit overboard with some of the shit that they did during the match? Sure, but
They did not unalive themselves in
yeah,
the cage match, and I was
but
like, "Whoa, I
but
wasn't expecting this."
but to the point I made earlier about the cage match, this is what you look for in cage matches. You look for the violence, you look for the plunder, you look for the blood and stuff and things of that nature. You look for the personal animosity between the two combatants in a cage match, and that's what you got out of Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. And to
I
me,
think this match was more physical, whereas the one that was on Monday Night Raw was more dramatic because
yeah,
you got
that's
the drama at the end where like Paul is holding Punk and then he gets mad and then he attacks Punk. And then Paul is standing there trying to figure out, who do I choose? The man who brought me and kept me in the dance, or the man who's been holding me while I've been here, when I went down in the dumps. And then a part of me wonders if Brock is ever going to come back. Then that's an extra part of he's managed three top superstars.
Mhm.
Who will he choose in the end? Or will he
Don't know.
choose a new person to build them up to be a superstar.
Don't know, but I feel like the physicality in the cage match between Kyle and Will Ospreay is what people
Yeah, I like the physicality. I like you.
look
Listen, when you trying
look
to
forward.
unalive yourself in a
Yeah,
cage match, I'm down for it.
they look forward more to that in a cage match than the dramatics of it, because you can put dramatics in any type of a match. It doesn't have to be in a cage match. So it's like you have to understand what kind of match it is that you're booking and what you're trying to sell to the fan base. And I thought that the cage match between Kyle and Will did a much better job at portraying what a cage match is supposed to be in comparison to what we saw just a day later on Raw. And like I said, the AEW World Title match was to me a fucking disaster. The result was a disaster. The way it was put together was a freaking disaster. It was a slow plotting match to begin. That's just the wrong way to go about it. I think they went like 26 minutes for this match, which was unnecessary. Yeah, that's that, and they're trying to they're doing it over. Like I said, they're doubling down. The reason as to why I said they're doubling down is because they're doing this match over as a street fight on Dynamite this week, and we all know at this point Cope's not winning this match. So what's the point of doing this rematch at the end of the day? Even as a street fight, so like it's just going to be more overbooked slop. They needed to end this storyline on Sunday, and they didn't. Like again, yet again, I'm speaking for myself, but like they had avenues as to where they could have just cleaned this shit up, and they decided not to. And we got the crappy end of the show that we did. So there's that.
Yeah, and I wish they had to swap that. The Hollywood ending should have been the match that ended this all. But overall, good pay per view. I like pay per view that they're getting back to where their matches have stakes to them. Because I remember a time where I was complaining, like, I'm watching AEW's pay per views now, and it's like, I'm watching like 10 matches, and five of them only have like a title on the line. And then you might get one good, title switch, which we had one good title switch, but it was just that we had some good matches for good stakes, and I felt like people were really fighting for something. So, but they got a whole bunch of titles. I mean, why not defend them? Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to the next thing, which we're going to talk about two things with them because they had a pay per view. TNA Wrestling. We're going to first start off with the show that happened on the 13th. Eddie Edwards defeated Leon Slater. Wesley uh, defeated Laredo Kid. Zaya Brookside defeated Rosemary by DQ. JDC defeated Cody Deaner. Cora Jade, and I got a new name for her, J News. TB, because she makes me sick. TB defeated Lee Ying Lee and Masha Slamovich. TNA World Title match, Joe Henry defeated Ryan Nemeth. And for the TNA World Title match, Joe Henry defended Hammerstone. J News, did you see any of this? And what do you think?
No, I didn't watch any of this.
I'm gonna tell you a little bit. I skipped around because anything they got to do with TB up there, you won't catch me there. So and I find it very great because I don't like Cora Jade either. So they belong together. Uh, so it was an okay. It wasn't like a go home to a pay per view that you would expect. So it was kind of boring. But ladies and gentlemen, as we were talking about before, there was TNA Sacrifice, ladies and gentlemen, and it happened on the 14th, the next day, on Friday. On the countdown show, we had the first class. AJ Francis and Casey Navarro defeat the Aztec Warriors of Laredo and Octagon Jr. We had a street fight. Mance Warner defeated Sammy Callahan. Let me tell you, they tried to take it there. They took it there. They took it there. That's something you want to watch from the pre-show that was on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, on to the main card for TNA Sacrifice, which you can see on TNA Plus. Uh, we have the street fight. It went from YouTube into the main pay per view. We have TB defeating Lee Yang Lee. Lucha Rules 6-man tag team match. Ace Austin and the Rascals of Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz defeated Tariq Igwe. That's how you pronounce it. Tyson DuPont and Wes Lee. We had Steve Macklin defeat Frankie Kazarian for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Title 3-on-2 handicap match. We had Ash by Elegance, Heather by Elegance, and the personal concierge defeat the Spitfire of Danny Luna and Jody Threat in a title change, which I was sad about. Mustafa Ali uh, defeated Mike Santana. TNA Knockouts World Title match. Masha Slamovich defeated Cora Jade. TNA X Division Title ladder match. Moose defeated Jeff Hardy. In a cage 10-man tag team match, Elijah, Joe Hendry, Leon Slater, Matt Hardy, Nick Nemeth defeated the Colognes of Eddie Colon and Orlando Colon, the System, Brian Myers, and JDC. J News, did you see any of this and what did you think of it?
Nope.
I would say I wasn't necessarily happy with this, okay? I wasn't necessarily happy with this. I can tell you the matches that I wasn't happy with. First of all, the Heather and Ash by Elegance. Dana Brooke is still Dana Brooke in it, and I'm sick and tired of seeing her on my TV screen. Uh Masha Slamovich versus Cora Jade. Okay, match. Never should have happened. Moose defeating Jeff Hardy. It was predictable, but it was a good match overall. I will leave that alone. But I don't know why that last cage 10-man tag match was the way it was because I could have did without it. Send it straight to the moon. You should have made the X Division Moose Jeff Hardy match last. It wasn't that great, but it was better than what I listen. I'm so sick of this. TNA, get it together. Y'all were doing so good. That's what y'all get for firing a whole bunch of people. Just make me sick. Ladies and gentlemen, and I had to watch that stuff. Now we're on to Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. We had a two-nighter of event called Mayhem. Ladies and gentlemen, on the first night, we had the Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida to defeat Blake Christian and QT Marshall. Johnny Swinger, yes, I said that right. That man who likes to pull his pants down. Yeah. Johnny Swinger and Raj Singh and Rohan Raja and Rohit Raju is when you get all these names together. And Bhupinder Gujar defeated Bhupinder Gujar, Billy Gunn, El Reverso. That's how you pronounce that, J News? Reverso?
Yep.
See? I'm learning from J News, ladies and gentlemen. I watch it long enough. And Mike Rollins. For the MLP Women's Canadian Title Tournament quarterfinal match, Kaylee Ray defeated Zoe Sager. Kaito Kayamiya defeated Shelton Jean. In the Jericho Cruise Oceanic Title six-way scramble match, Mo Jabari defeated Brent Bates, Michael Allen Richard Clark. That's his whole name. I just, after watching him 3 or 4 times this week, realized that this is his whole stage name. This is crazy that this man calls himself Michael Allen Richard Clark. J News, he got to find a better name. Rich Swann, Stu Grayson, and Taiji Ishimori. Mike Bennett defeated Alex Zane. MLP Women's Canadian Title Tournament quarterfinal match, Giselle Shaw defeated Lainey Luck. And for the NWA World's Heavyweight Title, Tom Latimer defeated Bishop Dreyer. I really didn't see this. J News, did you see this? It's on me. I know I watched one or
Mhm.
two of the matches, and then I was
I completely forgot this was coming on this weekend, um, and due to previous engagements and work, I couldn't get myself wrapped around this. So yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're on to night two. Once the first few matches happened, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, I am very sick. And so I started watching them, and then they started watching me. And at that point, on the first day, I was like, "You got bigger things to do," because as we get to on the 15th, y'all will realize I did a lot of work. So we're on day two, ladies and gentlemen. Both these shows are on Trilla TV. That's an app if you want to get it. About $10 a month. It's okay. It was on the 15th. This is the first day of my hell week. I had to watch this. Blake Christian, QT Marshall, and Shelton Jean defeated Bhupinder Gujar and El Reverso and Psycho Mike. MLP Women's Canadian Title Semi-Final Match. Kaylee Ray defeated Taylor Rising. Alex Zane and Kaito Kayamiya and Stu Grayson defeated Kato Kayami, Stu Grayson, and Taiji Ishimori. I kind of like that match. I did see that, and I was like, you got hope. MLP Women's Canadian Title Semi-Final Match. Giselle Shaw defeated Serena Deeb. Go back and watch that because it was like they had little hiccups, but it seemed like they were trying to take each other head off. Street fight. We had PCO defeat Michael Allen, Richard Clark. Billy Gunn and Bishop Dreyer defeated Matt Cardona and Tom Latimer. Tom, that man's name gets me. PWA Champions Grail title match. Rohan Raja defeated Rich Swan. I kind of like that match too. Because I was like, okay, this is better than the first day. The Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida defeated the Kingdom of Matt Tavitt and Mike Bennett. So, ladies and gentlemen, since my good brother didn't see that, we're going to go on to the HOG House of Glory. It was City of Dreams. Listen, and we had the money maker, the CEO on the court. So, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Because again, I was hurt. On the 15th, which was yesterday, I spent all day and all night watching this. HOG Crown Jewel title match. Zilla Fatu defeated Donovan Dijak in a good match. Jay Bougie defeated Joey Silva by DQ. Montequilla, is that how you say it? Jay News? Montequilla?
Yep.
See, listen, I'm learning from Jay News. In a minute, I'm gonna be a full-fledged speaking Spanish woman, okay? Defeated Danhausen. Private Party, Quinn and Zay defeated Darian Richardson and Jody, don't want to mess up her last name. Aurora. Listen. But then Mercedes Monet came and she defeated Indy Hartwell. I'm not gonna necessarily say go back and watch this because I don't want nobody's feelings hurt. I'm just gonna say this was okay. HOG tag team title versus career 2 out of 3 falls match. The main event, Jay Lyon and Midas Black defeated the cold blooded killers of Jay Armani and Raheem Royal. I forget, I think it might have been Raheem, no, it could have been Jay Armani. One of them looked like they had broken their neck and a stretcher in the backboard came out. Also, at the end of the match, the main event made sure that people knew that they deserve to be on somebody's TV. You don't care if it's AEW, WWE, anybody, somebody. Because when they come in town, they are the main event. Jay News, did you see any of this?
Nope.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to the next thing I had to watch yesterday, which was Defy. And it was the aftermath. Ladies and gentlemen, which I was kind of glad that we had this. Super 8 XGP tournament, first round 4-way match. Clark Connors defeated they may call himself LeBron Cozone and Marcus Mathers and Titus Alexander. Another first round 4-way match we had was Starboard Charlie defeated Bishop Kong, Evan Rivers, and Jordan Oasis. Midnight Heat, that's Eddie Pearl and Ricky Gibson, defeated the Flaming Aces of Spencer Scott and Zay Perez. The Fight to Survive match, we had Riho defeating Anna Beretta, Brooke Havoc, Danica Della, Rogue. These long names. I want to tell you all, y'all in the Indies, y'all don't need a 4-star name to be a 2-star wrestler. Liza Hall, Nicole Matthews, Tara Zepp, Vert Vixen. We had a double chain match. C4, Cody Chan and Guillermo Rosas defeated the Bollywood Boys of Gerv and Harv Shearer. We had the Defy World Title Super 8X GP tournament final match because it was vacant. Clark Connors defeated Starboy Charlie to become the new Defy World X 8X GP champion. Did you hear about this, J News?
The only part I heard about this show was Clark Connors becoming the Defy World Champion. Shouts to 100 Proof and Bullet Club War Dog Clark Connors for becoming Defy World Champion.
Can't wait to see him. That means he's going to be in the States more often. That means New Japan. Look like you're going to lose another one eventually. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to GCW. And GCW was Ashes to Ashes. And guess what day I had to watch this? You got it. Yesterday on the 15th. Ashes to Ashes had a 6-way scramble match, which Jimmy Lloyd defeated Bobby Flacco, Hunter Drake, Jack Cartwheel, Jay Lucas, and Teriyaki. Yes, that man is Teriyaki. Tony Deppen defeated Zeta Steel. In the GCW Tag Team title match, the Garbage Daddies, Alex Price and Cole Radrick, defeated the Legion of Rot, Frightmare, and Hollow Wicked. Hardcore Tag Team match, Cinco Play and Matt Tremont versus the Violence is Forever ended in a non-contest. Gringo Loco defeated Charles Mason. Hardcore match, yes, my boy Fuego del Sol defeated Atticus Cougar. GCW World title match, Effie defeated Slade. We had a Tournament of Survival X qualifying death match. Dr. Redacted defeated Hoodfoot, ladies and gentlemen. And in the death match, John Wayne Murdoch beat that man, Mr. Danger. Watch yourself. Because I'm right here, okay? Sing it. Been so long since Mr. Danger won anything. So now we're on to New Japan, which is J News' favorite thing. And we're going to go over the New Japan Cup. Go ahead.
We're talking about the matches that happened on the 9th of March. We have the pre-show tag team match. Toriano and Yoshihashi defeated Daiki Nagai and Katsuyori Hiroshima. Bullet Club members Chase Owens and Sanada defeated Just Four Guys of Taka Michinoku and Yuya Uemura. Team DK members Hartley Jackson, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeated United Empire members Jacob Austin Young, Jeff Cobb, and TJP. Bullet Club War Dog members David Finley, Gabe Kidd, and Gato defeated House of Torture members Ren Narita, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi. This has been the main line feud of the New Japan Cup tour. The Bullet Club War Dogs going up against HOT. And also the sorry folks. Also the I would like to say the nonchalant attitude of the one they call Sonata not being able to pick sides between the Bullet Club War Dogs or the House of Torture. It seems like Sonata's going out of his way to do his own thing and trying to figure out whatever he's trying to figure out. On to the next House of Torture members. Dick Togo, Evil, and Show defeated Los Ingobernables de Japón. Bushi Shingo Takagi and Yoda Tsuji. Oleg Bolson defeated Bad Luck Fale in a one-on-one match there. New Japan Cup first round match. We had the Great Okan defeat El Phantasmo with Jado flanking him. Drilla Maloney had his match against Tomohiro Ishii, where Jill Maloney won his first round match in a very good bout. Tetsuya Naito defeated Callum Newman. And then Hiroki Goto and Hiroshi Tanahashi to end the night for the main event, defeated Satoshi Kojima and Yuji Nagata as a preview to the March 15th one-on-one battle between Yuji Nagata and Hiroki Goto. We then have the matches that happened on the 11th. Daiki Nagai versus Satoshi Kojima and Daiki Nagai and Satoshi Kojima along with Yuji Nagata defeated Hiroki Goto, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Katsuya Murashima. United Empire members Callum Newman, Jeff Cobb, and TJP defeated Bullet Club members Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, and Drilla Maloney. Lij, Bushi, Shingo, Tetsuya Naito, and Yota Tsuji defeated El Phantasmo, Jado, Oleg Bolton, and Toru Yano. Bullet Club War Dog members Gabe Kidd and Sonata defeated Just Four Guys of Taichi and Taka Michinoku. Shota Umino and Tomohiro Ishii defeated United Empire and Great Okan along with Jacob Austin Young. This was the first time that we saw Shota Umino back on New Japan TV. Shota Umino with a new look, wearing all white, no hair, bald head, no theatrics, no intermingling with the crowd, just all business. Shota Umino in New Japan Pro Wrestling. When I first saw him come out in his white hoodie and white pants, he automatically made me think of famed Japanese legendary wrestler Jinsei Shinsake, aka Hakushi, from the mid 90s and the 2000s. That is who Shota Umino reminded me of, and it was funny that he reminded me of that wrestler because that comes up again in one of Shota's New Japan Cup matches. New Japan Cup second round matches, we had Yuya Uemura defeat Yoshihashi. We then had Zack Sabre Jr. defeat Ryohei Oiwa. And then we had David Finlay being flanked by Gato defeat Evil via countout. And that was on the 11th. We then have the matches on the 12th. Just Four Guys, Taka Michinoku and Yuya Uemura defeat Daiki Nagai and Yoshihashi. Satoshi Kojima, Tomohiro Ishii, and Yuji Nagata defeat Hiroki Goto, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Katsuya Murashima. United Empire members Callum Newman, Jeff Cobb, and TJP defeated TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. Lij members Bushi, Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito, and Yota Tsuji defeat El Phantasmo, Jado, Oleg Bolton, and Toru Yano. House of Torture members Evil, Renarita, Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi, along with Dick Togo on the side, defeat the Bullet Club members of Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, David Finlay, Drilla Maloney, and Sonata. We then have New Japan Cup second round matches, which had Taichi with Taka Michinoku flanking him, defeated Gabe Kidd via countout. This had a lot of back and forth between Taichi and Gabe Kidd. Good match nonetheless, but then there was some shenanigans which led to the count out win from Taichi over Gabe Kidd. And then we had the other match that had Shota Umino in his second round match because Umino got a bye, defeating the Great Okan. All business was Shota Umino here, defeating Great Okan in a very decisive manner. We then go on to the matches on the 14th. We had Satoshi Kojima, Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, and Yuji Nagata go up against Bishima members Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Katsuya Murashima. The team of Ishii, Yano, Nagata, and Kojima won that match. El Phantasmo, Jado, and Shota Umino defeated United Empire members Callum Newman, Great Okan, and Jacob Austin Young. Bullet Club members Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, Gabe Kidd, and Sonata defeated House of Torture members Renarita, Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi. This ended in 23 seconds via DQ. This match was all over the place. Yet again, more of the storytelling between the House of Torture and Bullet Club War Dogs factions. We had more of Sonata being involved in the match and then just walking away and not necessarily choosing a side by the end of the match. So more development there with that particular storyline. And then Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens just being kind of the odd man out in this particular setting. So choosing sides is going to be one of those things that probably happens by the end of the New Japan Cup shows. House of Torture members Dick Togo, Evil, Renarita, and Sho, along with Yoshimoto Kanemaru and Yujiro Takahashi, defeat Bullet Club War Dog members Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, Gato, and Sonata. They ran that back. TMDK, Hartley Jackson, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeated just four guys: Tai Chi, Taka Michinoku, and Yuya Uemura. In the second round matches, we had Drilla Maloney defeat TJP. Shingo Takagi defeated Oleg Boltin. And then Jeff Cobb, being flanked by Callum Newman, defeated Tetsuya Naito in their second round match of the New Japan Cup. We then had the show from yesterday on the 15th. Tomohiro Ishii and Yoshihashi defeated TMDK members Hartley Jackson and Ryohei Oiwa. United Empire members Callum Newman and Great-O-Khan, Jacob Austin Young, and TJP defeated El Phantasmo, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Oleg Boltin, and Toriano. We are now going down the road of a possible match for TJP and El Phantasmo, as TJP and El Phantasmo were squaring off with each other during the match and then also post-match. So it seems that TJP will be getting a shot at the New Japan World TV title sometime soon. Bullet Club War Dog members Chase Owens, Gabe Kidd, and Sonata go up against House of Torture members Ren Narita, Show, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru in a double countout. This match just went all over the place between both factions, and that continues their particular storyline through the New Japan Cup. LIJ members Bushi, Tetsuya Naito, and Yosuji defeated the House of Torture members of Dick Togo, Evil, and Yujiro Takahashi. LIJ up to their usual LIJ stuff. They are the only cohesive unit to still be alive on New Japan Pro Wrestling television right now. Quarterfinal matches, we had Shingo Takagi in a good one, in a good but short match against Drilla Maloney. Shota Umino defeated Jeff Cobb in a match where Jeff Cobb just did not take Shota Umino seriously, but Shota Umino came out on top there. David Finlay versus Yuya Uemura was a strong match. David Finlay coming out with a win there. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tai Chi was a very emotional, very hard-hitting, classic New Japan Pro Wrestling match. So for folks who want to have a sense of what it is to watch a true New Japan Pro Wrestling matchup, go out of your way to watch the New Japan Cup quarterfinal match between Zack Sabre Jr. and Tai Chi. Zack Sabre Jr. getting the win there. And then we had the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. Hiroki Goto, the champion, defeating the legendary Yuji Nagata in their one-on-one matchup here, doing their best to put on a good show for the fans in that crowd. And at Yuji Nagata's advanced stage, Hiroki Goto was able to carry Yuji Nagata to a decent match where the fans were heavily involved and cheering and definitely into it while watching there. We then had the matches from this morning, which happened today on the 16th. We had TMDK members Hartley Jackson and Ryohei Oiwa defeat Katsuyori Murashima and Tomohiro Ishii. Satoshi Kojima and Yuji Nagata defeated Daiki Nagai and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Toru Yano and Yoshihashi defeated just four guys, Taka Michinoku and Yuya Uemura. El Phantasmo, Jado, and Oleg Boltin defeated United Empire members Great-O-Khan, Jacob Austin Young, and TJP. United Empire members Callum Newman and Jeff Cobb defeated Los Ingobernables Japón, Nobushi, and Tetsuya Naito. We then had House of Torture members Evil and Ren Narita, Show, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi defeat Bullet Club War Dog members Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, Drilla Maloney, and Gabe Kidd. We then had Los Ingobernables Japón of Shingo Takagi and Yota Tsuji defeat Shota Umino and Tomoaki Hanma. And then the New Japan Cup semifinal match, which was the main event of the night, had David Finlay being flanked by Gato go one-on-one against Zack Sabre Jr. in a tremendous match. Definitely for fans who just want to know as to what's going on in the New Japan Cup and are just concerned with the New Japan Cup, go out of your way to watch this particular match because David Finlay did tremendous work as well as Zack Sabre Jr. To finish up in the New Japan Cup semis here. So we have the other semifinal match coming on for tomorrow on the 17th.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the preview. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with my favorite. I'm going to do all the previews today. We're going to start off with my good friend GCW. We're going to say so much fun, ladies and gentlemen. So much fun is on the 16th today, so I don't get a break. GCW Tag Team title match, Garbage Daddies, Alex Price and Cole Radrick versus the Batari, Kodama, and Obarian. Listen, this is, I don't even think, if J News knows it, I'll trust him. Mr. Danger and Teriyaki versus the Cougar brothers of Atticus and Otis Cougar. We have the GCW Ultraviolet title match, Matt Tremont versus Beastman. And for the JCW title match, Masha Slamovich versus Matthew Justice. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to New Japan, where on the 17th, there will be New Japan Cup Night 8. We'll have the semifinal match of Shingo Takagi versus Shota Umino. Also, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Oh, sorry. Go back. We also gonna have a match on the 20th, which will be the final match in the show. But ladies and gentlemen, on the 22nd, you get Wrestling Revolver's Goated. Yes. Because you know what? If you ain't never seen my shorts, I already let you know I'm the camera goat. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll be on Triller TV. And I will be telling you some of the matches here. There will be Ace Austin versus Damian Chambers, an unsanctioned street fight with Rich Swann versus Matthew Palmer, Jake Chris versus Mustafa Ali, Gringo Loco versus Moose. I can't wait for that match. PWR tag team title match, Alpha Sigma Sigma. If you put the first words, you already know what they're gonna be. Versus the Macabre. Is that it right? I said that right? I was thinking about chicken. Okay. Death Knot and Cruel. And for the Revolver title match, Myron Reed versus Steve Macklin. Ladies and gentlemen, we already went over the New Japan show that was on the 22nd. So that's the end. And it's time for the spotlight, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, I am in charge of the spotlight today. And I got a good one for you. Okay? Let me pull myself up there so you all can see me tell you about my spotlight. Uh, I chose this person because they finally, and I mean finally, I want to pull myself up with it too. Finally, I saw them put their big girl pants on and defend themselves and not take the BS. Because guess what? They the champion. And my spotlight of the week is EO Sky. Listen, she jumps from high places, she moonsaults, she flips, she gives it her all. And she's a tough cookie. She can fight through anything. And I really, really, really love her style of wrestling. And I love her. And when she became champion over Rhea Ripley, I was shocked, but excitedly happy, especially during Women's Month, that my girl EO Sky is the champion now. So my spotlight of the week is EO Sky. J News, you got anything you want to say about EO Sky?
She is a tremendous in-ring performer, one of the best women's wrestlers to come across any of our TVs in the last 2 decades. She is a bona fide star, a legend in her own right over in Japan, and probably a certified Hall of Famer down the road whenever she decides to hang it up. Io Sky deserves the world as she is now the WWE Women's World Champion. I believe that's what they call it. Yeah.
They got
So
too many titles for me.
yeah, I don't, it's a bit confusing in that sense, but she deserves all the spotlight that she deserves, and readily is getting going into WrestleMania season. Eventually, we'll end up with her versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. I think that's my belief.
Yeah.
And hopefully, she's able to continue to show out and show why she's one of the best to ever do it.
Listen, I learned from her if you just put yourself in a trash can and jump off a high place, you hurt a lot of people. Okay? That's 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 the term for today. You jump, pull the trash can over top. You gotta be a metal trash can. Can't be one of them plastic flimsy ones. You remember them plastic flimsy ones, they don't do nothing for you. You gotta get a metal one and just put it on top of you and just leap of faith. Okay? And Somebody gonna catch that trash can. Okay, it might be to the head of the midsection. Ladies and gentlemen, while we are here, we need to go back to our studio so I can give J News the proper flowers and spotlight he deserves as he tells you about himself.
Hey, folks, as usual, thanks for watching the live stream today to catch you all up on what's been going on this week in the pro wrestling space. That is my QR code there on the screen. If you're seeing it, thanks to Loris for always putting it up. John L., your friendly neighborhood moviegoer, that is me. I am your friendly neighborhood moviegoer, meaning that I go to the movies on a weekly basis and write up reviews for them on my Letterboxd account. So if you want to catch up on either some short-winded reviews or long-winded reviews, you can do that on my Letterboxd account. Is there on my QR code, which leads you to my link tree. I last saw the movie called The Black Bag, which is the latest Steven Soderbergh film. For those folks who are interested in the movie fare that is not attached to any large intellectual property, and it's non-comic book, and it's not necessarily a big tentpole film. This should be right up your alley, man. It's one of those classic spy thrillers mixed with a whodunit. Very well shot, very well written, very well acted. So go out and watch it in the movie theaters, man. Don't wait for it to come on freaking streaming, man. I hate that shit, man. Go support movies in the movie theater, so they can continue to make more movies like this. So I just wanted to do that quick roundabout about The Black Bag there. But also you can check out all my other links in my link tree there as well. True Heel Heat is another podcast that I do every other week, depending as to whatever the New Japan Pro Wrestling schedule is. I'm on there with SP3 and Sanal, so you can check me out there as well. You can check out some old audio only podcasts of me doing movie reviews from my podcast. You can catch them on YouTube, or you can catch them wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, whatever distributor you have. I'm on that particular app. And then yeah, that's all I got from my end. Thank you as always for your support, and thank you for always participating in the chat as well. Shouts to everybody who is with us today.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time for AI hood version of what we think of J News. Okay, and today, as you see it scrolling at the bottom, it says tap in with J News, the realest movie reviews. No cap. If you want the truth, you know where to go. Okay, I
Well,
just want to.
all
I just
right.
want to say it's a good man, Savannah. That's a good man. Don't miss out on it. Okay. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what Nightbot is doing today, but if you put exclamation mark pink, it normally drops your link. It also automatically drops people links, but because Tori and the Educated Natural are already on the list of where it's supposed to drop, but in J News, but they don't want to act right today.
Yeah,
So they
something for me right now. Something just crashed the entire chat, so I can't even see it anymore.
yeah, it's acting weird. Let me tell you again. See, AI J News. See, listen, J News. We put that little short up. Went dumb crazy. I was like, okay, everybody like J News. I know who they came to see. Wasn't me. While me and J News are both on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, I know Delores has been late on getting her podcast up, and I'm gonna try to do it sometime this week. But I've been sick, really, really sick. So just charge it to my mind, not my heart. I really am trying to get it out. But we're a couple of episodes behind. We're gonna drop that, and we'll probably be all at one day that all of those drop. I'm currently trying to get us on some more platforms, get us signed up, get us ready. Because right now we're on Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. So make sure you check out the old episodes. Make sure you leave a comment, like. We're getting everything up. Check out all our social medias because we want to be able to go live more often on those social medias so you all can get a good gist of us. And maybe we'll drop some behind the scenes things. In April, you will have a special episode because as of now, I have counted about 11 of the collective shows. And then there are three WWE shows. Right now, HOG and them are not showing their shows, but they always have shows too. So Dolores will probably be in watching about 15, 16 shows during from that Thursday to Sunday. So make sure you check us out because we'll be doing that special review. And now I'll talk about myself. Since my good brother has dipped off, I said dipped off. Listen, I'm tired, and you saw all these shows I had to do yesterday. I'm surprised I'm still up. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, here's my QR code. Now I'll blow myself up. My QR code. Hi, I'm Dolores. Just a pink girl in my pink world. Here everywhere. Because when I say everywhere now instead of YouTube, I used to be just on YouTube, but now I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. Hi TikTok, I'm live now. Uh Twitch, everywhere. I'm everywhere. Any social media you can probably think of, you probably can find me. Some version of Dolores or what. So make sure you check me out. I have a lot of tutorials. If you want to know about me, basically, I'll sum it up. I am Dolores Designs. That's what I do. I do graphics, I do tech, I do everything. I build websites, I do a little bit of everything. Some things people are beginning to know about me. I can give y'all little facts. One fact is, for those who don't know about me, your girl can make AI music. I've never told anybody publicly this because I've been know how to do this, but I just didn't want to do it because that's not a passion. That's just a like and a hobby. I do tech. I do Canva. I should be having a video dropping sometime this week about new editing software that I love the most that I've been using. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. So it's been in about, and now I'm about ready to drop it, and it will be about Microsoft Clipchamp. For those who don't know, I love technology, and this is what my channel is about. It's about sports, technology, having fun. If you haven't seen my shorts, I do the most, and I have fun with them. And I'm glad that you all are responding and subscribing and loving them. We're close to. Listen, I can see 400 in the distance, and so I can't wait to get there so we can have a good time. Maybe have another giveaway. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I have been sick, so there hasn't been any Dolores' raw reaction. Can't wait till I feel better so I can get it back soon. Every time on Sunday, you definitely can catch me here at the Hit the Ropes podcast, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with my good brother J News. Listen, sometimes we'll get a little arguing about wrestling. Sometimes we'll laugh together. Sometimes it depends on the day you catch us. But we'll always have a good episode for you. It's always gonna be good. And we're gonna give you a little bit of tidbit if you don't know about wrestling, about the insides of wrestling. Okay? So let me get the QR code down. J News, I thoroughly appreciate you every time you are here on the channel. There we go. So make sure you go check out J News. You know he good with the movie reviews. He watched the movies. He know about New Japan. Listen, ladies, when I say he a good man, he speaks Spanish. He knows them New Japan names. He knows movies. He listen. Look at that man. Look at that man. Can you find anybody better than that man? Listen, he been my co-host and I ain't found nobody else. I was like, all I need is J News. If J News leave me, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay? Y'all saw me when he was missing for a couple of days, a couple of weeks. I lost my mind. I was up here struggling. I was fighting for my life. Listen, because you know what? You ain't gonna have nothing till you do right by me and J News. I tell you, J News. J News, don't you feel that in your spirit? And when I heard that when I was a kid, I was like, you gonna have nothing till you do right by me. And I've been sticking to it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, me and J News, we dropped some fire content, some great reviews, some perfect previews. And guess what? J News, it started burning in here. It is hot. J News, please tell them to keep their clothes on. I can't see all this. I can't, J News. But you know what I want them to do? I want them to do one favor. Just give me a second, J News. I could probably help them by cutting the lights out. Oh, J News. I felt the breeze. And as y'all see, I'm in a halo because the sun just glistens on black skin. Listen, but you know what I want to tell y'all? We'll see you next week. And until then,